Somali artist Aar Maanta spent a month in Minnesota in 2018 as part of a program called Midnimo. This is the story of his residency. Chapter 1. What is Midnimo?
The largest Somali communities in the United States lives in the state of Minnesota. A lot of people only see the Somalis only social medias, what's going on back home or what's happening here. Always the media, it's turning the bad image in the community. So we're trying to reach it out. It's not what you see in the social media. We want to show you who we are.
The Somali Civil War in 1991 destabilized the country, sending millions of refugees around the world. Minnesota is a home to one of the largest Somali diaspora communities in the world. In 2014, a program called Midnimo was created to bring Somali musicians from around the world to Minnesota. Midnimo is the Somali word for unity. Since 2014, the program has brought 8 Somali music legends to Minnesota for in-depth residencies, each lasting several weeks. Midnimo's goal is to increase awareness of Muslims, Somalis, and their cultural identities. Midnimo started as a collaboration between 2 Minneapolis organizations, the Cedar Cultural Center, a nonprofit music venue, and Oxford University. But the organizers learned that Midnimo was needed in other areas of Minnesota as well. The Cedar worked with organizations in Mankato and St. Cloud to set up a consortium. Midnimo artists now have the chance to do unique residencies in each city.
I think a residency is an opportunity to have an authentic interaction in a way that can spark ongoing conversation.
Consortium partners include the Cedar Cultural Center, Oxford University, Minnesota State University Mankato, Somali Community Barwaco Organization, St. Cloud State University, and Paramount Center for the Arts. In each community, Midnimo residencies include classroom visits, artistic workshops, panel discussions, community events, and of course, performances.
Mankato is a very interesting place. I've lived here for about 5 years. I always joke with my students that we have 2 Chipotles, so it means it's a big town. For me, Mankato is a small city. For a lot of our students that come here to Minnesota State University, we've got about 10,000, 11,000 students. It's the big city.
There's really just this broadening of St. Cloud as a representation of the world. When I moved here in 1968, it was 99% Catholic. So the change that has happened religiously, that is no longer the case. Change just happens all the time. Now the change is not religious, it has been diversification of ethnicities. And it's a surprise to some people. The goal of reducing Islamophobia through the arts, especially with millennials, that's a really big idea.
I'm in this process of learning something for this program. It's all about reaching out, and the program is reaching out to me too. It's who we are. This is who we are. And that's what this program is all about.
Speaking of tension, if you want to address this would be cool. Last year, you all were supposed to be here, and we were all prepared for it, and I ended up doing a story on it called The Week That Wasn't.
Oh.
Because of, the issues. So
you could just call it the year that wasn't.
Yeah.
Or the 2 years that weren't, because I know a lot of work went into this projects, and sometimes it's not just this city that has been affected. It was Mankato, it was Minneapolis.
This is Aar Maanta. Aar Maanta is a globally acclaimed British Somali musician. He's specially known for reinventing classic Somali music for a new generation. He's also a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador for the humanitarian message of his songs. On January 21st, 2017, President Trump issued a travel ban affecting 7 Muslim-majority countries, including Somalia.
The U.S. Supreme Court has upheld Donald Trump's travel ban involving people from 7 countries.
It says the proclamation is squarely within the scope of presidential authority.
Even though Aar Maanta is a British citizen, his visa was delayed due to additional administrative processing. Meanwhile, his non-Somali band members had no difficulties obtaining their visas.
A Somali musician was scheduled to perform and tour Mankato this week, but Aar Maanta currently isn't even in the country.
This year, while the other 4 members had their visas approved, Maanta is still waiting for his, which has caused the cancellation of activities that were planned this week.
The importance of his presence in Mankato would have been deeply appreciated. He would have been able to talk about a lot of things that us immigrants who live here aren't able to talk about.
I think the visa ban was so blatant because the band was approved and Aar Maanta wasn't. And so it became such a tangible example of our government being exclusive in who we wanted to accept.
I think when you go through those and you're part of a group of musicians and you are singled out, even though they don't explicitly say it's because of your faith or your ethnicity, but when it happens and it's systematic, it's very, very demoralizing. It reinforces the notion that you don't really belong in these countries, which can be very demotivating as well.
It was really heartbreaking to have the visa fall through because I couldn't wrap my head around why. You think of all the good that could have happened that's not going to happen, and you think about how much your community needed it.
Aar Maanta was limited to joining Midnimo activities through Skype, calling from his home in London. In the meantime, efforts were doubled to get Aar Maanta's artist visa. Midnimo partners worked with Minnesota politicians and the British consulate to appeal the decision.
If we have goals, then we just have to be patient and see what we can do musically to influence those that may agree with some of those decisions that are affecting people like me.
Finally, over 1 year after his struggles began, Aar Maanta was granted his artist visa. His Midnimo residency was finally a go. Next, connecting with high schoolers in Mankato.
The only thing I think in Mankato that they know when it comes to Somali community or they're Muslims. We're trying to have dialogue and have a conversation within the community and make sure that the majority of population, which is white population, understands the struggles and the obstacles that new Americans might face when they come to a newer town or cities like Mankato. And unfortunately, we're still struggling understanding each other. We've built our home here and I'm not going nowhere, but I still get asked at least once a month why I chose to live in Mankato. And I believe it's kind of denial, and it's called Minnesota nice. You exist, you're there, we're not going to interact, I don't need to know you, you're fine. But I think it's about time to have conversation within Mankato community because it's second generation.
Aar Maanta's first activity in Mankato was visiting over 700 students at Mankato East High School.
My name is Aar Maanta, and I'm actually from a country called Wakanda. Does anybody know where that is? Who's gonna tell me where Wakanda is?
The most successful impact for Aar Maanta's residency was us being able to connect with high schoolers. It was an experience that I can't even describe.
In advance of his visit, the Mankato East Choir learned one of Aar Maanta's songs, Somalia Hanolato.
We came in the morning to the school, and the students were performing that Somali Hanolato, which means long live Somalia. That song went viral on social media.
So the conversation is not even just in Mankato, it's already around the world. So Even ex-mayor of Mogadishu tweeted that.
I felt like it was such a huge celebration. When we were learning it, last week we brought in 37 Somali students who were just in the auditorium having a meeting, and we invited them in and they sang with us, and they just had the choir so energized. They were singing it down the hallway and it was just so joyful.
In Mankato, we have a huge Somali population and most of the women wear hijabs. I think being able to understand Muslims and learn a part of their culture helps you then understand them as a person. Maybe what you learned today, maybe when you see a Somali woman walking down the street, maybe you'll think I know something about her culture that I didn't know before, and that can make you kinder. I think hatred stems from misinformation and ignorance, and when you're educated, you can be a better person.
In our high school, we have 43 different languages being spoken in the homes of our students, and we work every day to honor the culture and tradition of every student. There's so much research out there that shows when their students feel like they're a part of their school and people care about them, that you're going to see higher levels of engagement and higher levels of academic success. And hopefully they take that with them and they take that home to their families and they take it into our community and share that. Right now, the United States isn't necessarily a very kind place. And this is an opportunity for us to help make even Mankato and our small community a more friendly, more kind place.
We've seen students that may not even interact with each other actually were communicating and laughing with each other, supporting each other.
While learning about traditional Somali music, a student asked if Aar Maanta could demonstrate a Danto dance.
Danto is a popular traditional Somali dance. So we're going to demonstrate that for you. Who else is going to join us? There's only two. Come on. I'm gonna dance with you too. Don't be shy. Let's do this. Come on. Let's show your fellow students how it's done. Come on.
I think most people didn't want to dance, but when they saw all these people that don't even know how to dance, that kind of dance, we're going up there, and I think that moment was a awing moment of wow, they're really going out of their way right now.
I honestly love the dance. I got involved there, and at first I was hesitant because I was oh, I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but then I was taught how to do it, and that was really fun and it was exciting, and now I know something from the Somali tradition now.
I think it means a lot, especially for people who are of the Somali culture, because they get to see someone that's more and something that they can connect with. And I think that's really important for everyone to kind of see themselves in the musician or artist, because it brings everybody together.
Each one of them will go home and talk about it, their experience, their families. That's the ripple effects that will go on generations, hopefully.
Is this the first time a Somali musician has come to the high school?
Yeah, it has. Wow. I know. I don't think we've really had any other musician come other than Aar Maanta.
My children are born here in Mankato. They're first generation of Americans to immigrant parents. They've never seen Somalia. And they identify themselves as Somalis. But they've never paid attention to Somali music or art or anything. It was the first time that they've actually took initiatives, and I've heard them downloading Aar Maanta's music and listening to him and hearing them rehearse because they needed to be on stage and to impress their peers that they speak really fluent Somali. It's a connection moment that they've connected with their friend that they've never had a chance to connect with. You can't put a price to that.
I just wanted to say that this generation, like Somali generation, are really lucky to have someone like you who expose art, because like you can understand that our community is so dead in the art part.
Chapter 4, Deepening Mentorship.
I remember growing up as a young girl that art was part of life. Music was daily thing that it was respected, it was actually invested on. But after the war, the generation after me, they've never had that experience. After the Civil War, there was no art. The culture shifted to a very extreme culture where art was erased.
Aar Maanta has turned to legendary Somali artists in the diaspora, learning the musical traditions through his elders.
Well, I was fortunate enough to work with Hudaydi, who is one of the masters of Somali oud and compositions. Mentorship is really, really important because one of the components of being an artist that can really help you work is confidence. It can really inspire you and it can help you succeed too.
Now, he wants to mentor the next generations of Somali youth and young adults in the arts.
I have a band called the Urban Nomads.
Until recently, Aar Maanta had been the only Somali artist regularly performing with a live band.
Things are changing now for the better, and there are other bands who play live music more recently.
I do kind of believe that in order to get people to come after what you were building for them, they also need to see the fun, the bright side that Somalia wasn't always just a dull area of war and things like that. Now we do actually have dances and art and color in our history.
But I mean, art is expressive. You're expressing even when you're suffering, even when there's wars and like insecurity and there's no money to feed your family. People used to write about that. Singers used to sing about that kind of stuff. An artist might paint that, or a poet might rhyme about that kind of stuff. I think art is just as necessary as anything. Sometimes people just want to express themselves.
You often hear about in the Somali community that there's a lot of great artists and there's a lot of great painters and whatnot, but we're not kind of really seeing them on the stage that they should be, or they're not being known, or they're not heard of. How do you think we can kind of get those people, get those artists onto platforms that we can all see them?
Yeah, I'm encouraged when I come to a gathering like this. Very educated, influential, hopefully in the future people. So you are the people who can get those artists in your hometowns. You want to be known for sports. You want to be known for art. You want to be known for technology, for success. You know, there's a big Somali community in St. Cloud. So having your artists, having your films, your future films, having your plays in these places it would encourage you, and it would encourage the future generations.
Let's say someone wants to be an artist in our community, it's more like, oh, you're not going to find a job, you're not going to succeed in life if you go that route.
Our parents, they've been surviving, fleeing, struggling to adapt to new areas. So when you're like, just trying to navigate through all these different levels of struggles, I think art can sometimes look, it can look a little bit like a not necessity.
It's good to have someone like you who would, who teenagers and people who are like wanting to take that route, who they can look up to, basically, which is really nice. And I do appreciate that too.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. For me to hear that from another student just really showed, representation is important. To me, that was the best, I think, moment in the whole trip.